How do I get over my husband's disappointing proposal? At the time my husband and I had been together 5 years and our oldest son was about 1 year old. He came home from work after one of his later shifts. I was vacuuming, I turned around and he was standing there with the ring. Never got down on one knee, not much was said, that was that. I'm not a grand person. We got married a few years later last June in Vegas and had a little reception at home months later. I was cool with that. But the extreme lack of effort has me feeling meh about it all, and I think what bothers me the most is, it's not something that can ever be redone. I've mentioned briefly how it upsets me and he's mentioned redoing it, but I told him that wouldn't count. On top of it, when he was young and dumb in high school 2-3 years before we got together, he proposed to his high school sweetheart. I know it was dumb puppy love and didn't mean much because they were in high school still lol, but the fact that he took her to where his dad proposed to his mom, did the whole romantic gesture, one knee, words spoken, I know this because he brought it up when we first started dating, has me feeling slightly offended and kind of wonder why I wasn't worth the effort when we had a much more mature, long-term relationship and a child. I've never brought that aspect of it to him and how that bothers me because I don't want to be childish and not even sure how to initiate a convo like that. But the longer it stews the more and more it bothers me. Help. Update. Well, I sat him down and decided to stop beating around the bush. Some of your comments made me do some self-reflection and I now realize that I need to be upfront about what I want instead of dropping hints. So I did that. I told him everything and why the proposal was a big deal and why him doing more for the ex was hurtful. He did get defensive at first, but after a lot of talking, we mutually agreed that we never got that exciting period because hours before our first date he found out his mom had cancer again and all of the things, her passing etc., and heaviness I had mentioned in the comments set a sort of bleak tone. It helped us a lot because we had to navigate things that were difficult early on, but it did cause us to not set a standard for either of us. I know I'm not perfect. Hopefully things really do turn around and we can start fresh and learn how to romance each other and bring that sort of love into our relationship. Any ideas on things we can try would be great. Thank you guys. A lot of the advice given really helped. Even some of the harsher replies. I think the proposal is a symbol of something else to you. It's been years and it's still bothering you. I think this is something you either need to do a lot of self-reflection on, and figure out why in a happy healthy marriage this lackluster proposal is still itching at you, or go see someone professionally to help you piece through this. It sounds like this goes deeper than a proposal. Talk about how you're not feeling appreciated, and tell him how he can make it better for you. Ask him to do XYZ differently. Tell him that you'd like a romantic redo of the proposal. It doesn't have to be a once-in-a-lifetime. He can always say, "Will you live the rest of your life with me?" After 2 millions together or after 20 years together, it's still a romantic request. Well, I don't think it is the proposal you need to get over. The real question you have is, does he really love me? Or are you just something safe he fell into? I think that is the conversation you need to have with him. Not in a whiny, "you don't appreciate me" kind of way, but a serious discussion. But realize you may get more of an answer you fear instead of the one you want. I think having him make some kind of behavioral change might make you feel better in the short term, but won't address your real concern. Have you asked him why he's not very romantic towards you? Has he given you an actual reason for his behavior change when he started dating you? Does he understand that you are a romantic person and appreciate those kind of gestures? It just feels like there's something going on that neither of you are talking about. Maybe some marriage counseling would help? After reading most of your comments, it comes off like you have given up on putting any spark or romanticism back into your own relationship. It is unfair to your partner that you want things to change but you are unwilling to put forth the effort, communication. He cannot read your mind, and while I understand the notion of not wanting to have to tell a guy to do romantic things for you because it feels less special, it is not realistic. If you want your relationship to improve in the aspects you mentioned, then you need to communicate it, period. You said, yes, think more about that and not the circumstances. What's to be mad about? Dude loves you and wants to commit the rest of his life with you. Just because he didn't do it in the rain on a full moon means nothing. Be happy you have someone huge commitment. Op's husband don't seems to show grand acts of romanticism. The question is, how often Op does make the same kind of romantic gesture? Goes both way. I had female friends complaining about their so's not being romantic, but at the same time they didn't made any romantic stuff themselves, because it's a man's job. Sometimes you have to show the example. Update. Should I, 33M, Invite my son, 18M, to Thanksgiving? Well, I got over my fear and invited my son in the end. I appreciate the encouragement. Really helped to just push past the nerves and ask him if he wanted to spend Thanksgiving. But gave him the option if he'd like it to be with my whole family, some of them or maybe just us. He didn't give me a straight answer and told me to give him a few days to reply while he thinks about it. In the end he said he wasn't ready yet to meet others in my family. This whole year has already come with so many changes in his life and he's just not sure he can handle so many more right now. Which I understand. We spent Thanksgiving just me and him and I loved it. My son was kind of down, which makes sense with this being his first holiday with his grandparents. He got in a better mood after and we were able to talk more. I cherished this time with him. It's hard not to look at him sometimes in awe. How much another person can look so much like you and have a whole personality of their own. I told my son I loved him when he left and he smiled. He was open to meeting my mom a couple days ago. She tried hard not to cry but it was still very emotional. He's opening up little by little and that's something. I want to give my son all the space he needs. Edit. Original post. This is an fantastic update, I'm so happy for you. I really wish you both all the best. I'm happy for both of you. Read your original post a while back and glad to hear you're making progression. It's only sad all of this could been built a long time ago but they robbed it for both of you. Only keep enjoying what you have now. This made my month. If you're going to do something like this on Christmas, please let us know. I'm proud of you for being a stand-up dad. You too can get some family counseling to help work on the communication and trust between the two of you. He has a lifetime of lies to deal with. As a 33-year-old man, this just makes me want to happy cry. You're doing great by your kid. Keep up the great work. I wish you both the best. Things will come as time goes by. Op. You are my favorite person on Reddit. Loudly crying sparkling heart. This was such a heartwarming update. My boyfriend went to his best friend's wedding with all married people. Now he is extra lovey-dovey. Here it goes. My amazing boyfriend went to his best friend's wedding back east and when he came back he mentioned how all of his friends are either married with families, engaged or just got divorced. He said it made him think that he is at the age where he thinks maybe he isn't in the same group as them. We have a great relationship but ever since he's come back he is extra lovey-dovey, which I'm not complaining because I love it. But it makes me wonder because I feel like this is a whole new man but can't understand why. Maybe someone has some input. Spoiler. Realized he wanna join the club. Spoiler 2. He wanna get married. Not to be a Debbie Downer, but. Please don't let your expectations get out of hand. This carry-over energy will last a week or two and then begin to wane out. He will most likely return to his regular modus operandi. If you want the nature of this relationship to change, engagement, marriage, move in together, etc., then you should communicate that to him. He realized it's time. Watching your best friend marry is one of those moments in life that can bring about serious reflection about the place you're at in life, and where you're headed. We know that he's reflected on his status as the last of his group to cross a major threshold in his love life. We also know for certain that he's reflected on where he's at now with new seriousness, has decided that he has a lot to be thankful for, and that it's time to start showing it. That's as far as I can go with what little you've offered us. Seems like he's got in his head he's ready to get married and settle down. There comes a point in every man's life when he just knows that it's time to settle down and raise a family. Ladies get baby fever, guys get family fever. It's weird but it's like an innate drive that becomes top priority overnight. It's weird, but delightful because all your chickens start to get in order. Edit. Cool if you don't get this feeling, to each their own. Not really here to argue the issue. Sounds like he's ready to start talking marriage with you. I hope you are ready for that, otherwise you are about to enter the non-compatibility zone. Just appreciate that he cares and is affectionate and don't read too much into it. You could potentially set yourself up for disappointment unnecessarily. I want to break up with him for playing video games. My boyfriend has been playing video games every day for a while now. He doesn't seem to want to do anything together and makes excuses for why we shouldn't do them. I can't even remember when was the last time he took me on a nice planned date. Most evenings I feel like I'm left on the couch to figure out what I want to do by myself while he goes to another room to play games. It makes me feel really lonely. We barely kiss or cuddle and haven't had sex in longer than usual too. I've mentioned that he doesn't want to do things, is always playing games, and talks more to his games than to me. Yesterday I got pretty upset about it and he sat with me in the same room for a bit but then got up and left to play those dumb games. I hate video games and usually wouldn't date a guy to begin with if I knew he played this much, so I don't know why that's all he wants to do now. I almost packed up my things and left last night and I think I'm getting ready to end things. The issue isn't that he plays games. The issue is that he is neglecting your relationship. You are not a priority in his life and he is taking you for granted. When you break up with him or have a serious conversation, focus on that. Well, then stop wasting his time and leave. He has a leaderboard to climb. I had this happen once. He literally was still holding the controller when I broke up with him. He just pushed the side of his headset back so he could hear me. His buddies may have heard our conversation for all I know. Whenever a guy is prioritizing everything else over you, it's bad for the relationship. Just leave. Don't feel bad. While playing video games can be a great hobby, a hobby should never dominate the important things in your life. And from your story it seems like he is neglecting everything else in favor of playing video games. It's understandable that you want more out of a relationship than this. If you can't get through to him with a serious conversation, I'm not sure which options you have left here besides leaving him. If he makes any promises to reduce his gaming time, you need to make sure that this isn't temporary. And not he plays a bit less for a few weeks, but then in a few months you end up where you started. What you have to do is start playing video games too. Get really good at whatever game he is obsessed with. Beat him at his own game. Then bang his dad. Then leave him. This should resolve everything. It's crazy to me because I feel this exact way towards guys like this, but I love playing my Xbox. It's almost like they are choosing not to moderate themselves for some reason. I really wish they would stop because it feels like neglect and abandonment. It is in a way. I'd say if he can't moderate himself, go find a man who will. I dealt with video game addiction throughout my 20s. I got into therapy and that helped, but before therapy I was totally willing to make an effort and put time aside if anyone asked me. Sometimes excessive gaming is more than just a hobby, it could be an addiction. Tell him how much video games is affecting your relationship and how you feel about them. But also realize that video games is something for a lot of folks use to relax, so make a compromise. Have a talk with him about balance and see if he's willing to adjust his gaming to at least spend time with you. And if nothing changes, then consider moving on.